What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my Draftkings MMA picks for UFC Vegas 87. We got Shamil Gaziev going against Jairzinho Rozenstruik, and we have a very interesting slate here. We have a slate where up until I think it was like this morning or this afternoon, Wednesday afternoon, we only had 9 fights on DraftKings. We have some short notice replacements here, and up until this point we do have 11 fights, which is still a small slate. But yeah, it's a very interesting card from a DraftKings perspective. We don't really have much in the mid-range. We have a ton of highly priced fighters, so lineup construction is going to be very interesting this week. But yeah, I can't wait to break it all down. As always, if you guys could please do me a favor, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. If you do want extra content, be sure to check out dfsbythenumbers.com. There you'll find all my stats, targets, projections, ownership projections, rankings, lineup optimizer, DFS article, prize picks article, and much more. And it is the best way to support me. Also, to support me, check out prize picks. Use promo code DFSBTN. Get yourself a 100% deposit match up to $100. And I'll touch on my favorite prize picks play mid-video. And we hit another one last week, so we'll see if we can keep the ball rolling. All right. With all that out of the way, guys, I say we get into it. We're going to start with the fight doesn't go to decision lines. And we do have a couple fights where we don't have the fight doesn't go to decision lines yet. Bernardo Sopai, Vinicius Oliveira, we don't have one at time of recording. And then we also don't have Ludovic Klein, Adrian Cunningham, fight doesn't go, which I'm assuming both of those are going to be pretty heavily favored to end inside the distance. But the ones we got right now, we got Shamil Gaziev, Jairzinho Rozenstruik, minus 1,400 for the fight doesn't go to decision, which I think is very accurate considering Shamil Gaziev has 12 fights, 11 of them have finished under 1.5 rounds. It's a main event where I think the mid-range is extremely important this week. I think all the money is going to be made in this mid-range, getting the right combinations in this mid-range, because there's just so many high-priced fighters this week. You got Umar Nurmagomedov at 9,700, Ludovic Klein at 9,600, Javi Boser at 9,500. In the mid-range, we don't have much. Even with the new fight that was added, the Vinicius Oliveira Bernardo Sopai fight, we still don't have much. But this main event is in the mid-range, and it is one that is borderline. It is must target for me this week. I'm going to be 100% owned on this fight. The thing is, I don't have a strong lean one way or another. I know people are very confident in Shamil Gaziev. I mean, you can't really be confident. I mean, this is a heavyweight fight at the end of the day where, both guys are very live to knock the other guy out. So my ownership for this fight personally is probably going to be fairly, similar, maybe like a 50-50 split or very similar to it. We'll see how the builds work out. But yeah, no strong lean, but my strong lean is this fight is must target and somebody's getting served probably under 1.5 rounds. Next, we have Chris Duncan. I don't know what happened there. Chris Duncan going against Claudio Ribeiro. Good fight to target as well. I'm personally on the Chris Duncan side. I do like him to win this fight quite a bit. I'm fairly confident in Chris Duncan, but, Claudio Ribeiro, this guy is 7,300. He's very cheap. He has a 100% finish rate. The only problem is Duncan's just a very smart fighter. He's very defensively sound. Christian Leroy Duncan is going to go out there and, probably make this fight a little bit more boring, I'd say. Not boring, but, slow the pace down quite a bit, because he's not going to want to go out there and stand and bang with Claudio Ribeiro. If he does that, Ribeiro's very live. I see this fight finishing, but I think it could be like second, third round. Christian Duncan's a guy that kind of takes his time. I think it could be like an attritional finish. So, yeah, Christian Leroy Duncan, he's in play for me. 8,900. I do like him. I do like him to finish this fight in the second or third round. But Claudio Ribeiro, I think if he wins, even though I'm not picking him to win, if he wins, it is probably like a first round knockout. Next, we have a fight that is the co-main event: Vitor Petrino, Tyson Pedro. It is minus 275. Fight doesn't go to decision. Tyson Pedro, 100% finish rate, and all of those come in the first round. So right off the bat, Tyson Pedro, 7,200. He makes a ton of sense. If he wins, he's going to break the slate. Do I like him to win? Not necessarily, but this guy does have a ton of power. He is a black belt as well on the mat. He's a very good grappler. He's very dangerous. So yeah, I mean, if Tyson Pedro is able to land a big shot or get the fight down to the mat early, he could win. The problem with Tyson Pedro is if the fight reaches the second round, he's probably going to lose. 0-3 in fights that have reached the second round in Tyson Pedro. But yeah, that's not really why we're playing. We're playing him for that first round upside. So I don't mind some Tyson Pedro into 7,200. Vitor Petrino, I think, is fine. But I think if he wins, it could be a late finish. Maybe even decision here for Vitor Petrino. So either way, I think this fight scores decently, but I'm kind of more interested in Tyson Pedro this week. There's not a ton of live dogs on this card, I'd say, but Pedro's live at least in those first 5 minutes. Next, we have Steve Erceg going against Matt Schnell, and I see that I completely butchered the spelling of Steve Erceg. Sorry, Mr. Erceg there. This is a fight where I'm kind of on one side here. It's going to be Steve Erceg for me, 9,200. I think he wins this fight. I think he wins this fight by finish. Matt Schnell, I think might be the last time we get to fade this guy's durability. Matt Schnell has been finished in 6 of his losses, the majority of those coming by knockout. And although Steve Erceg's not a murderous power puncher, I don't really think he needs to be at this point. So yeah, I like Steve Erceg here, 9,200. I like him inside the distance. As far as Matt Schnell, I just can't get there. I don't think I'll get there this week. I think there's better pump plays. Moving on, core plays, Muhammad Mokaev, 9,100. Yeah, I like Mokaev here. I like the price tag of Mokaev. I have concerns about Alex Perez. Where's his head at? Where's his mindset at? This is a guy in Alex Perez who's fought like twice in the last 4 years, and those fights have totaled like 3 minutes. He's been subbed in both. By good guys nonetheless, but still, I worry about Alex Perez. I worry about the durability. This is a guy in Perez who's been finished just like Matt Schnell 6 times, and 5 of those times coming by submission. If, Alex Perez is not showing up here 100%, if he's showing up here for a potential paycheck, Muhammad Mokaev, the much younger, the much hungrier guy, is probably going to run right through him. So with Mokaev, you have that takedown upside. This guy is averaging, 6.5 takedowns per 15 minutes, but you also have that sub upside. Mokaev has multiple submissions in the UFC. Not the best competition, but he's submitted black belts. Jafel Filio, black belt. Malcolm Gordon, black belt. I think even Tim Elliott's a black belt at this point. So yeah, he can absolutely go out there and get subs, and I think he gets one here against Alex Perez. Christian Leroy Duncan, 8,900. Yeah, I like the price for Duncan here. I think there's only, let me count here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 fighters. 4 fighters that are priced in the AK range. It's ridiculous this week. And Christian Leroy Duncan is one of them. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fighters priced in the 9K range. So we need some guys in the 8Ks. And this is a guy that I like in the high 8Ks. It's Christian Leroy Duncan. I think he does get a finish. I think he has some control time upside. I think he can kind of break Claudio Ribera as the fight goes on. I don't think he has the highest ceiling in the world, but on this card, we're going to need some guys in the 8Ks to win, right? I think line of construction is going to be kind of crazy this week. I don't think we're going to get a lot of dogs that come through. So yeah, Christian Leroy Duncan, 8,900, cheap enough to get him in there, and I think he has some finish upside as well in that second or third round. Steve Erceg, 9,200. I like Erceg. I like Erceg to finish. We talked about the durability of Matt Schnell. Erceg is a good finisher. He has no finishes in the UFC, but outside the UFC, he has plenty. He has sneaky power. He's a really good grappler. Matt Schnell's been subbed twice. Matt Schnell's been knocked out 4 times. I think Steve Erceg probably gets a club and sub here is kind of what I'm thinking. So I like Erceg, 9,200. Shamil Gaziev, 8,300. Like I said earlier, not a strong take on this main event, but my strong take is this is a must play. Shamil Gaziev has finished 11 of his wins under 1.5 rounds. I think it's like 8 or 9 first round finishes. If he wins, it's probably a first round finish. I think he has all the grappling upside, obviously, in this fight. If there's going to be takedowns from either guy, it's on the Gaziev side. And yeah, if he gets this fight down to the mat, he's going to have a significant advantage. The worry with Gaziev, though, is the cardio, the level of competition. But yeah, he's absolutely to win this fight. Both guys are. So, probably splitting the ownership, fairly even here, but Gaziev's going to probably be, the more popular guy on the slate at 8,300. I haven't seen many people picking Rosenstruck outright this week. Moving on to the GPP plays, Umar Nurmagomedov, 9,700, extremely expensive, and if there are some dogs that are going to come through, yeah, Umar Nurmagomedov, 9,700, he's going to score great. It's just that is a very heavy price tag to pay, but, he has, takedown upside, finish upside. I think he does get a finish here personally against Boxout, who I've seen him get dropped. I've seen him get submitted, and he's just on another level. This is a guy that's anywhere from -1,000 to -1,600 on the money line. So yeah, I think he scores great. It's just, is he going to be able to fit in the optimal lineup at this ridiculous price tag? I think it could be one of those slates where we have a loser. We have an underdog loser on, the optimal lineup this week, because I don't see a ton of dogs coming through. So Umar, good play. It's just very, very expensive. Same thing with Ludovic Klein. Great play. He's going to smash. He's going to put up a massive score. It's just he's very expensive at 9,600. He has sneaky takedown upside here, and he's going against just a walking punching bag in AJ Cunningham. I mean, I'm kind of surprised that they signed AJ Cunningham off of his performance on the Contender Series, right? Like, took a ton of damage. Like, that was one of the worst beatdowns I've ever seen on the Dana White's Contender Series, AJ Cunningham. And yeah, Klein, he has a nasty head kick. I think that head kick probably lands, and Klein probably knocks out Cunningham here, to be honest. So yeah, Klein, 9,600, expensive, very expensive, but he probably does finish Cunningham and probably puts up a massive score. Abdul Karim Al-Sawadi, 8,400. On a normal slate, I probably wouldn't even be talking about Al-Sawadi, but I really need to talk about all four of these 8K guys. Like, all four of these 8K guys need to have some exposure this week, and Abdul Karim Al-Sawadi is one of them. Like, if he wins at 8,400, although I don't think he has the best upside, I'm not sure if it's really going to matter. He can go out there and score 80, 90 points, and I think it could potentially be optimal on this weird slate, just because I think these 8K guys are going to be important. Yeah, I'm actually picking him to win. I don't think he has much takedown upside, but what he does have is a lot of volume. I think if there's a finish in this fight, it could potentially be a late finish on the Al-Sawadi side. So yeah, Al-Sawadi, 8,400, I don't think is the worst play in the world in terms of just getting the win. The upside, I'm not sure if it's there, but I'm not sure if that's going to matter on this slate. And then Vinicius Oliveira, 8,600. I think he's going to be pretty low owned this week, just due to the fact that they opened these lines up, or the salaries up, when the line was, I think it was Vinicius Oliveira around like minus 180 or so, and now it's a straight pick'em, like minus 110, minus 115 each way. So yeah, I think that's going to take some ownership off of Vinicius Oliveira. I think it's a great fight to target here. Oliveira, he is taking on Bernardo Sopai. I think somebody's getting served in this matchup. I'm personally picking the dog in Sopai or Sopai at 7,600, but Oliveira, he hits very hard, defensively irresponsible, but he throws with very bad intentions. I think somebody's probably getting knocked out here. So Oliveira is definitely in play. And like I said, I think he's going to be semi-low owned with this line closing up as much as it has. All right, moving on to the prize picks play of the week. We got Umar Nurmagomedov, significant strikes, 57.5. I'm taking the less here. I think this has multiple avenues to hit, whether that's him knocking out Boxot, whether that's him getting a club and sub against Boxot, or whether that's him just grappling, just getting this fight down to the mat, controlling Boxot for 15 minutes, or finding the sub, like I said. I think there's a lot of different ways to hit for this to hit. I like the less here. I just don't see a reason why he'd go out there and strike with this guy for 15 minutes. It wouldn't make much sense, and that's not something he does to begin with. I think he does get this fight down to the mat, and when he does, I think he probably gets that sub. So check it out. Prize Picks, promo code DFSBTN. That is the play of the week. Moving on to the live dogs. Bernardo Sopai, 7,600. I was impressed with this guy, to be honest. This is a guy with a 90% finish rate, and he's going against Vinicius Oliveira, who is just very defensively irresponsible. Vinicius Oliveira has been finished 3 times. All those come by knockout. There was a cut stoppage, and then there's other times where he's been actually knocked out. And Sopai has a ton of power. I mean, both these guys do, but Sopai throws with bad intentions. He's training at All Stars Gym, the Khamzat Chimaev's gym. He has some grappling in his back pocket as well. And I think he's going to be very popular as an underdog, just due to the fact that he's like minus 110, minus 115 on the money line, and he's only 7,600. And on top of that, there's not a lot of live dogs I like. So Sopai is definitely somebody that sticks out. 7,600 will be popular, but rightfully so. All right. We got Jairzinho Rozenstruik, 7,900. Yeah, I'm going to have a ton of ownership to Jairzinho Rozenstruik. He's probably going to be my highest owned dog. I think he's fought the much better competition. I think if this fight reaches the second round, third round especially, it does favor him. The question is, or the problem is, it might not. Somebody might get finished here within a round and a half. I think that's more than likely the case. But even then, like, Rozenstruik can knock guys out early as well. Rozenstruik can knock out Gaziv also. It's a main event where I don't have a strong take, but I think this main event is a must-have. It's very important. And whoever does win it, I'd be shocked if it wasn't on the optimal lineup this week at these price tags. So Jairzinho Rozenstruik, very much a live dog at 7,900. Loik Radzhabov, 7,800. This probably was, the most popular dog of the week that I saw up until Sopai joined the card. But yeah, Loik Radzhabov, a lot of people on him. 7,800. I got to throw him in here just because he's a live dog. There's not a ton of live dogs on this card. I think he's definitely one of them. You know, Rajabov's been in the UFC. Rajabov does have some wrestling in his back pocket. And then Rajabov's probably the more durable fighter as well. So, yeah, if he can get the wrestling going, maybe even land a big shot. You know, Al-Sawadi's been finished 3 times by knockout. So, I think there are some avenues for Rajabov. I'm not picking him myself, but from a DraftKings perspective where we need some dogs, he's definitely a dog that sticks out this week. Claudio Ribeiro, 7,300. We touched on him a little bit. He's an underdog with a 100% finish rate. Do I like him to win? Not necessarily, but he's going to go out there. He's going to throw with bad intentions. If he does win, it's probably a first-round knockout. Pump plays, Tyson Pedro, same thing. If he wins, it's a first-round finish. Tyson Pedro, what does this guy have? 10 wins? I think it's 10 wins, right? Yeah, 10 wins. All 10 of them coming in the first round. Like that can't be ignored. Vitor Petrino's obviously is undefeated, never been finished. But if Pedro does win this fight, if Pedro does pull off this upset, it's probably either a first-round submission, a first-round knockout. If it gets out of the second round, he's probably going to lose. But yeah, he's a pump play with some upside, 100% finish rate. I think he's definitely in play here at 7,200. And then fades, Javi Boser at 9,500. This 9K range, it's completely stacked. I mean, you got Muhammad Mokaev, 9,100. Even beats Vitor Petrino, 9,000. Steve Erceg, 9,200. Umar Nurmagomedov, 9,700. Ludovic Klein, 9,600. I can't get the Javid Basharat this week. Do I think he wins? Absolutely. It's just I'm not sure if there's much upside against Ayman Zahabi, who his fights are very slow paced. Not a ton goes on. And I think Javi's not going to have to do a ton here to win the fight. So I like Javi to win, but as far as a DraftKings play, I can't quite get there at 9,500. There you guys have it. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like on your way out. Subscribe to the channel. Check out dfsbythenumbers.com. Pretty much all content is out for this week. I have a couple more things to get out. The Prize Picks articles out. The DraftKings articles out. So yeah, check it out. And then also check out Prize Picks once again and promo code DFSBTN. And I did post a Prize Picks video as well if you guys want to check that out too. So best of luck, everybody. Weird slate. I don't think we've seen something like this in a very long time, but it's going to be interesting. You know, lineup construction is going to be fun. Should be fun in general. Best of luck, guys, for UFC Vegas 87. We'll talk to you soon. See you.